Republicans in the House, little less organized. Once again, we'll cover this. They had an 8-seat majority, ousted Kevin McCarthy. He quit. A couple other guys quit. It was narrow. It was down to like, ooh, they only had a 3-seat majority. Okay, getting tight. The House is big, so 3 seats, not very much. Now 2 guys just quit, so now they have a 1-seat, 1-vote majority. And they've gone through Kevin McCarthy. They went through like 3 or 4 speakers to try and get a vote, and they finally settled on Mike Johnson, or everybody calls him MAGA Mike Johnson because he's such a Trump supporter. But they started all attacking each other because Marjorie Taylor Greene just wanted to file, or she's pressuring to oust Mike Johnson. So the second speaker to be ousted within a year, right? Less than a year. And for the same reason, because he covered the budget deal. But so they're tearing each other apart, and we're going to watch some clips of Kevin McCarthy and stuff and jump right back and forth. But this is some funny shit. So we will jump right in.
Taylor Greene is not backing down on her threats to unseat House Speaker Mike Johnson. This morning, she sent a letter to her Republican colleagues trying to build support for ousting him. Johnson failing to deliver on promises and breaking legislative procedural rules. This comes just one day after a town hall.
If I had it my way, we would have impeached him a long time ago.
What was that?
I said she just can't stand not being in the limelight. I feel like with her, it's like an attention-seeking little kid. Like she's just gotta like raise some sort of issue just to hear her own freaking voice, and
right.
So people will look at her.
Well,
literally.
That's a lot of what it is. We talked about that last time. It's the they don't want to govern. They just want to be popular and famous, and so they're willing to attack each other and eat each other alive to try and get it, because there can be only one. There's only so much TV time, and they got to fight each other for it, right? But it's fun to watch, because it's like, I always use this analogy. It's like if I'm watching the Nature Channel and it's like a cougar hunting a deer, I'm like, I've seen it before. We know what's going to happen. But if it's a spider and a centipede going at it, I am fucking in. Because that could go either way.
Like the Big Brother house.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the Big Brother house. I feel like I'm not gonna lie, if they did like a Big Brother house of like just some of these like crazy ass Republicans, I would watch that all day long.
George Santos, oh god,
like
I'm throwing wine at each other.
We would have such a viewing party. You know, can you imagine can you imagine some of the drinking games you could come up with? Oh gosh, your liver. Oh, my liver hurts just even thinking about a drinking game while you were watching like the Republican Big Brother house.
No shit.
It's a wonderful, terrible idea.
Oh.
Just saying. All right, tell us in the comments below. Would you watch that? Would you be a part of my work party and watch that? I would watch that.
Every time they say immigrants, you got to take a drink, and everybody's dead of alcohol poisoning in 20 minutes.
Drinking game optional. For our sober friends, I support you. I mean, but if you want to make that a drinking game,
right? That's
some pretty funny.
Well, so here's another one. So Kevin McCarthy, who was ousted. Now, he was ousted by Matt Gaetz, who started that whole vote of no confidence to get him out of there. Matt Gaetz, though, you remember, Matt Gaetz was charged, well, not charged, but he was accused of sex trafficking, illegal sex trafficking of a minor, where he hired a 17-year-old prostitute, took her out of the country to have sex with her. And he's known as a lech in hiring prostitutes. He's well known for all that. But Kevin McCarthy, who left Congress now, who after he got ousted and felt like shit, he's being interviewed, and watch what he responds to.
And I'll give you the truth why I'm not speaker. It's because one person, a member of Congress, wanted me to stop an ethics complaint because he slept with a 17-year-old. An ethics complaint that started before I ever became speaker, and that's illegal, and I'm not going to get in the middle. Did he do it or not? I don't know. But ethics is looking at it. There's other people in jail because of it. And he wanted me to influence.
So, I love how he does this, because he's such a douchebag, too. But that's what happened. There was an ethics complaint against Gaetz. Gaetz went to McCarthy and said, you got to quash that shit. And McCarthy said, no, I'm not going to do shit about it. And that's why Gaetz ousted him. As soon as he saw an opening.
Republicans gone wild.
But I love how he does this too, where he at first he says it's an investigation because he slept with a 17-year-old. It's a fact. He slept with her. That's the way he says it. And then he walks it back and goes, well, wait a minute. He hasn't been convicted or anything yet. So, okay, I don't know that he did it. Right? But he knows. He knows he did it.
Okay, yes, you're right. He totally walked that back. But whether it's not his job to know whether the guy did it or not. It was his job to, let the committee do the committee's thing.
Right.
Like,
right.
Whether he did it or didn't, whether he knew it or didn't know he did it is kind of almost neither here nor there compared to the idea that this is what this committee does.
Oh, no.
This thing was in front of them.
I know. I think that he did the right move on that. Let the committee do it, right? But the other thing, but that's the whole deal. But that was his spiel, and he's right. The whole case involving Matt Gaetz, the two of the guys that were doing this shit with him, both of them did prison time. I think one of them is still in prison for this. So Matt Gaetz got away because he's a congressman. So, I mean, it's just, the whole thing's just messed up. But, yep. And then we'll watch this one again because it's just love Nancy Mace attacking her, Kevin McCarthy, because Kevin McCarthy supported a guy who primaried her, and she almost lost her seat, and she's still pissed about that. So here's her yelling at Maria Bartiromo about it.
McCarthy recruited a puppet to run against me in my Republican primary. You can go to puppetcatherine.com. He recruited somebody that can't win a general election in a purple district. Yes, he's a disgraced former speaker.
Don't you think you all should stick together in some ways? You are hanging on by a thread in the majority. When are you actually going to unite as a party and get things done?
Right, I agree, which is why Kevin McCarthy shouldn't go after fellow Republicans that can win in general elections in purple seats. You can go to nancymace.com.
I love that so much. Don't you think you guys should unite? I agree, we should unite. But Kevin McCarthy's a piece of shit and should be ousted. Real unifying there, Nancy. Real unifying. I want to remind everybody, this is a woman who wore a red A on her T-shirt in Congress because it was because the Scarlet Letter, because she wasn't allowed to speak. And it's like, everybody would fun of her because that's not what that book's about. It's nothing. It made no sense. She's also the one who's been yelling at her staff that I have to get 3 to 5 cable hits, be on television 3 to 5 times a day. That's more important. She's passed nothing. She's pledged nothing. She's done nothing. She's never pushed a bill, but she's working her ass off to get on network television and cable television as many times as possible. So, voters, that's your Republican Party. Those are your options. That's the other side.
Seriously.
I've got like dozens more. I'm just not going to take time.
Well, it's no wonder that in recent years, people who have been lifelong Republicans have been leaving in droves, I know people personally that were lifelong Republicans that in recent years have just been like, man, this party is just like, it now seems to stand for shit that it didn't before, or, that they just
eating
they
each
still
other
consider
alive.
themselves conservative, but they just can't bring themselves to attach to that anymore,
Yeah, they're just crazy people. Crazy. I like to see it though. I think Democrats really solid chance of taking the House. Senate's kind of up in the air, but it's starting to look better because they're going after each other for the abortion shit. They're going after each other for the trans shit. They're going after each other for their own crimes. They're going after this person's not MAGA enough. This person's too MAGA. They're eating each other. They're cannibalizing each other. This is what happens when you let the crazies and the white supremacists and the nationalists and the evangelical Christian, all the fucking nutbags. This is when you pander to them because they're consistent voters. I get it, and they're a solid base, and they give a lot of money, even though they don't have it. But
it's
still,
become like mad cow disease of the 90s. Well, literally.
Well, it started happening under Reagan, and then it got really bad under Bush, and then the fucking Tea Party And we thought, oh God, it can't get any crazier. And every time we say that, it just they go fucking hold my beer, and they go way the fuck down. They go nuts. And so I like it. I mean, it's hopefully they eat each other alive, and because we don't need a right wing party anymore. The majority of the country's not that way. What we need is the Democrats to be the moderate right wing party, and we need some sort of left wing party. That's what I think. But that's just my opinion. Anyway, we're gonna take a quick break. We'll be right back. Cool.